Eternal Life. Uh, this is Stacy, and this is a different video today. Welcome to the craziness that is my life. So my construction has started. It's been very, very, very noisy. I found this quiet little sliver in my home where I could kind of breathe. You might hear noises in the background, and I apologize if that bothers you, but here I am. So I couldn't be in my office, too noisy in there. So we're gonna try to do it from here. So today I brought along some show and tell because, you know, I was sitting here today thinking, like, what am I gonna do? What can I do? Uh, you're in a noisy house, your brain isn't maybe firing correctly because it's loud. Hi, Estella. Um, so I was like, well, what better thing to do than to show and tell and talk about some of my earlier things that I used to do in my art journal. So today I have this journal, which I don't know that I've really shown this journal before. This is a soft cover, thin paged. I don't really know. Let's see, is there any? It is a moleskin, but it's a soft color cover moleskin with just really thin pages. So it's not like an art book. It would be more like a sketching paper or a writing paper. I have some notes in here. But how I started this. So I covered it. This is all collage, other than the writing that I have in here. So I started it with collage pieces and a lot of words, right? A lot of word collage. So things that struck me in the moment, things that I really loved. And this was long before I considered myself even sort of artish. I didn't consider myself arty at all. So my first page, this is a collage and it's a bunch of different cutouts. So these are all different. I made a border. You can see these are a border. Oh my gosh, I love you for sending hearts. So this is how I began. This is my first page and my cover. And then I just continued on with my collage because that's what I wanted to do. So then I made word collages just to see. I mean, you could just cut words out of magazines and make things out of that. When I went one day, so I was working in a group of women, and when I opened up my page or my paper, somebody in my group had done this. And I thought that was really fun, so I never touched the page because I was like, oh, that's cool. They found those words in a magazine. And that's what we really all were doing. So then I themed this page. This is kind of my pink page. I have to tell you that from when I was young, I was never a pink person. And so it strikes me funny that I became a pink person later on in life. I wasn't one of those little girls that wanted pink pom-poms or things like that in my room. I was not that. However, I do have a picture that I remember quite well from when I was young, with a princess crown on, and I thought that it was my birthday, and I thought that it was a super cool, year to be a princess, and I really sucked that in that whole entire year because I remember it quite well. So here's just another page that I made, all cutouts and all collage, and word heavy. Again, I decided that since I didn't think that I was an artist, that I could do collage. So this is one of those tip-ins. We talked about making those this week at one of the videos. So this was a card, and I had made this cute little, I saw this cute little side table, and I wanted to do something like that in my house, and we were moving. So it says, a new home. So that's what I decided I wanted. And then this one became about travel. And what's really funny about this is years later, I ended up being really into travel. Oh, thank you. I'm going to try to say your name, and I'm probably going to butcher it. Verika? Welcome. I hope I said it right, and if I should say it better, then tell me in the comments. So anyways, I became quite the traveler. We ended up getting a camper, and we travel around in our camper quite a bit. And it's a super fun thing that I love doing. So this page, I never put any art on it. And I liked this because I liked this cutout. Oh, yay! Managing expectations. This became very important in my life. So this is the idea that we can control how we feel, right? So we manage our expectations. So we can say, this is how I want my day to be today. So we can wake up in the morning and decide, this is how much time I have, this is what I could possibly get done. And if I don't get it all done, it's okay. So that's about managing expectations. So that became a theme in my life. Then the other thing I wanted to show you that I thought was cool was I wanted to start putting tabs in this book. And so I just took a word, and the word was best actually, but it showed B on this side and then the ST on this side. And I just folded it in half and glued it in like it was a tab in the book. And I just really liked doing that. Now I moved on from this book very quickly, and I think because these pages were thin, but I'd like to go back and fill up the rest of this book. I have some writing in here, too personal to share, but some writing. And, but mostly the beginning were these collages, these word collages mostly, and mood boards and things that I just loved and wanted to have in my life. So that's what these were mostly about. So that's what this journal was about. And that's really how I began my journaling, was a lot more collage than drawing or painting. I didn't really know in the beginning how to paint, or, I mean, I didn't think I knew how to paint, and I didn't really consider myself an artist. So I think that this was an easy way to have a book. I wish I had brought other art books with me, because I had other drawings that or other things that I did and other ways that I started. So when I moved one time, I had all these magazines and I didn't want to move the magazines. So I ripped out pages of things that I loved, right? And I glued them in this particular hardbound journal, which I still have because it blew my mind. I couldn't really believe that this happened. So I found a bed frame that I liked and I glued that in there. And then I had what do you call them? Like a high boy, a piece of furniture that has doors on it, a wardrobe maybe they could be considered. So anyways, I wanted one of those, and I put these things in that book. And I don't know, I put the journal away when we moved. I had all my journals in a box, and I never opened that one, or I never got that one, pulled that one out to work on again. So that one's set in my closet in a box for like 3 years maybe. And one day I came upon that box and I was like, ooh, what's in here, and what should I get rid of and what should I save? And when I opened up these pages that had those things that I ripped out of magazines, like collages, I looked at them and I couldn't believe it. It was the exact bed. I had forgotten about it. I didn't think about it, but it ended up being my bed, the exact bed, the exact structure of the bed, the color, everything about it became my bed. And I didn't even remember I had done this. And this was before there was such a thing as dream, or you knew about dream boards. Like The Secret hadn't even been a thing yet. And then again, that wardrobe that I had, I call it a wardrobe, but it was kind of like a TV cabinet that closed. And then it had a really nice bottom section I kept my linens in. I ended up with that exact one that I put in my journal. So that's where I realized the power of this, whatever this was. So these dream boards, or whatever, what the powers were, right? Because those things came true for me. And even this journal, which really was a lot about traveling and wandering and being a traveler, that became real for me too, because once we got our camper, we've traveled a lot. And Up until that point, that wasn't happening in my life. So that's the power of doing something like this, right? Of having a dream board or a dream journal or um, anything like that. So that's why I wanted to share this with you, but also the idea that you don't have to be this major artist, right? You don't have to be able to draw. You can use collage, and why not? I mean, on some of these I penned over top of them. You can see I added some embellishment here and here, um, even up here. So you don't have to be like a big time artist or think that you're a big time artist to do something like this and make it matter. So that's why I just love things like this, and I love having these journals and putting different things in them. So you could call them junk journals, or it's a collection of things that you just love journal or whatever. And it be careful what you put in there, because if you don't want the thing you're putting in there, it might happen. So, that's my point to sharing these with you, because I think that we all think we need to be these great artists, and that's lovely. Don't get me wrong. I'm all about it, right? I'm all about the paint and the drawing and things like that. But don't feel like that's what you have to do, because sometimes things like collaging or just having a junk journal, just finding the pieces of things that, you like but want to collect in one spot, it's kind of a neat thing. So don't discount any of these things. Like, I think that these kinds of journals serve a purpose in all of our lives. So that's my point for today, because that's what I started working on today for myself, was cutting out some magazines, right? I'm stuck in my house. I can work in this one room. I have my little dog behind me sleeping. And there wasn't really much else for me to do today. I could be on the internet here, but I can only sit on the internet for so long. I got to do other stuff, right? But it's not like being home in my normal day. My normal day would be I'd be making myself lunch or having a cup of tea or doing all these, but people are working in that section of my house, can't do that. So I just started cutting out collage pieces and starting putting together collage stuff for another journal that I have. And that's kind of kept me entertained today. So I didn't, I don't have paint here. This isn't a section of my house that I want to make a mess in. So, I mean, I can get my markers. So, things like that. But collaging worked great for me today. So I was able to do some art, even though it was noisy and, um, you know, I had to, deal with, people working in my house and all that. I was still able to get something done. That's my point. So don't discount all these different kinds of art that maybe you could be making that you might think, oh, this isn't really art or it's not important. They all count, they all matter. So I urge you to think outside the box. Use collaging, use junk mail, search in people's recycling bins for things. You can make art with anything. So that's my lesson for today. You guys have a really great weekend. Happy Easter, and if you celebrate Easter, and enjoy some maybe time off with your family, and think about me in my sweat clothes and no makeup today. Um, just enjoying doing this. So anyways, I still wanted to come on. I will see you Monday. Again, it's going to be noisy. I'm hoping to have a different setup, so it will be a surprise. Everybody have a great weekend, and thanks for being here. Take care, everyone.